Most people have a strong belief that the criminal justice system is fair, that we don't get things wrong. Sabine believed that because he was innocent, that the truth would come out and that he wouldn't be convicted and that the jury would see that.
When they read the verdict, it just seemed like everything went wrong. My whole belief in being right, the justice system, and everything else was gone out the window. At the end of the day, they just wanted somebody. And why not just be me?
My father used to tell me, like, I'd be home next year. And like when I was growing up, he was like, I'd be home next year. I had hope, but then after a while, that hope went away. I really thought he was never coming home.
"20 years ago, a woman by the name of Michelle was murdered in her basement. She was shot twice. Sabine was her boyfriend. He was her live-in boyfriend at the time. He had arrived home and discovered the body. He completely cooperated with the police. He told them to go ahead and do a gunshot residue test. There was no probable cause. The probable cause came when the gunshot residue report came back. In a 2-day trial with very little evidence, and in fact no direct evidence, he was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison.
Worst thing about prison for me was not being able to do for your family.
We used to visit like family day. I hated it all, like the whole situation, I hated it. I felt very angry.
Literally, like, her whole life was through bars. I never adjusted. I never accepted my incarceration. I always worked on my case. I always believed that one day the truth was gonna come out.
Reading his transcript, I noticed a few different errors. An expert testified that the evidence clearly demonstrated that Sabine had fired a gun on that night. His testimony way overstepped what he could have said scientifically. So once we knew that our conclusions about the gunshot residue at trial was faulty, at that point we knew we could go ahead and pursue this case.
I have dealt with a lot of lawyers that really didn't come see you or really didn't communicate with you, but with Susan, she was more of hands-on. I finally felt like somebody believed me. When Susan called me and told me I was gonna be released, I just felt like that was the best feeling in the world because I knew if she said it, it was gonna happen.
The day my father was released that's the day I waited for my whole life, like 18 years. I always imagined like what we gonna do when first thing he do when he come home.
I don't think, in all my life that I ever imagined that I would be part of a team that helped someone find justice in the way that Sabine finally found justice.
Hey, it's so good to see you.
Yeah. Finally, right?
Yeah, I know. So this is the house?
Yeah. I always talk about you because a lot of people don't know how important it was to really have somebody that has integrity intact. A lot of times throughout that ordeal, I really didn't think, that I was going to get out because, it was just so hard. Freedom feels like being able to finally be counted for as a human being. See my kids grow up, be responsible, be productive in my community.
I think it's really important for all of us to look at the lessons learned from those who have been wrongfully convicted, to see what went wrong and to really look at the system and figure out how we can make it better.
Without you, I don't think I would have made it because you show up and try to make a difference. That's the beauty of who you are and what you do. And I just want to thank you. Appreciate everything.
I think one of the great things about Equal Justice Works is that it allows really creative and dedicated young lawyers do exactly what they want to do immediately following law school. In many ways, it helps them launch their career.
Yeah, I feel like the world passed me by, absolutely. It passed me by, but I feel like I'm in the world, and as long as you're in the world, you stand the possibility of catching up.